Welcome to another episode of GLP's 10 out of 10. And today we have with us London-based designer Neil Austin, who is an award-winning lighting designer, works internationally on different plays, musicals, opera, and dance shows. He has been the recipient of 3 Tony Awards, 2 Olivier Awards, 1 Drama Desk Award, 1 Helpman Award, 1 Outer Critics Circle Award, 3 Nights of Illumination Awards, and 1 What's on Stage Award. Amongst other achievements, he's a fellow of the Guildhall School of Music and Drama in London, and in 2019 was named by Variety magazine as an elite artisan. Up until the lockdown began, you could have seen his latest work on Broadway with company at the Jacobs Theatre, in the West End with Leopoldstadt at the Wyndham's Theatre, and internationally at multiple venues with his design for Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Welcome, Neil Austin.
Hi, how are you, Mark?
I'm very well. How are you doing under the circumstances?
Good, thank you.
Well, great to see you. Thanks for finding some time for us today. As you know, we've got our 10 questions. The 10 questions we're asking to everybody, and yeah, it's always interesting to see the answers come up. So maybe let's dive in with the first one, which is, what was your first show as a designer?
Oh, God, you see, I should have prepared, shouldn't I? I should have looked at these questions. I was employed for a very short time, the only time I've ever been a full-time employee. I was the deputy electrician and resident lighting designer at the Redgrave Theatre in Farnham, which was one of the sort of old rep theatres in Britain. And I got employed there, did a couple of shows there, the first of which was Mrs. Warren's Profession. And so that was the show. But within 2 weeks of arriving, I got called into the artistic director's office. And I thought, oh God, what have I done? And he said, I've just heard from the Arts Council that we've lost all of our funding and we're closing in 3.5 months. So that was it. That was the beginning of my not glittering career. Was, you know, sort of stalled before it had even started.
Over the years, obviously you've now done a massive number of productions internationally, and obviously a massive different number of venues as well. Is there one kind of Spinal Tap moment? Is there one of those embarrassing situations that you're happy to tell us about, and you can change names if you want to, but one of those things where it was just like everything was looking so perfect and then it just went wrong for the stupidest of reasons?
I can remember one. I use it as an example to students about why you should do your preparation, and it was I've been employed to do a show called Insignificance, a Terry Johnson play, lovely play up at Sheffield. You know, as ever in this industry, you're always juggling so many jobs at the same time that, you know, there's no time to prepare. Anyway, there I was in previews for whatever piece it was, and the director of Insignificance said, really like to be able to show you the white card model design with a designer, and could you come over tomorrow morning? And I said, well, I've got to be in the theatre at 10 to carry on the preview work, but yeah, okay, fine. So I finished that night's work at 10, 11 p.m, whatever it was, go home and think, God, I can't read it now. Okay, I'll set my alarm early. So I set my alarm early and I snooze it. And then I get up and I think, crikey, I haven't quite got enough time to read this. So I'm desperately reading the play, and it's Joe DiMaggio, Marilyn Monroe, Senator McCarthy, and Albert Einstein in a hotel room. Okay, still in a hotel room, the next scene. Okay, still in a hotel room. Yeah. Still. Fine, got it. And I skimmed it. And then I arrive at the meeting. And all's fine, because there it is, it's a hotel room. And then they suddenly turn to me and they say, so what are you thinking for the neutron bomb? And on the very last page of the script, after the last line written, there is the stage direction that says, Marilyn Monroe imagines what Albert Einstein has just described. and imagines the devastation of a neutron bomb. Yeah, I hadn't read that bit. Whoops. Always read the play. That was a moment of embarrassment, I tell you.
Don't hit snooze.
Yes.
So I obviously that's a piece of advice you've given to somebody, as you say, but professionally or otherwise, what's the best piece of advice that somebody has ever given you?
Well, I mean, the counter to that is Mark Henderson's advice to me used to be, why read the play? You're going to see a run through anyway.
Right.
I mean, that was back in the day when you were more likely to be using only the equipment within house and only the color within house. But he was being flippant, but it always stayed with me. But yeah, so I can blame him for my version.
There we go. Right. Okay. Let's pass that one off. Obviously, over a very storied career so far, I'll say so far, of course. Professionally, what's your proudest achievement?
Well, there are shows that I'm very fond of. There is one that in amongst them that I'm massively proud of, and that is Harry Potter, for many reasons. Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Because so many people can see it. The storytelling, the way that we've staged the piece, is not trying to compete with the film's visual world that they created. Instead, trying to rely on the audience's imagination and engaging them with their imagination as to fill in the blanks and to realize how effective live theatre can be.
Fantastic! No, congratulations, and obviously you've won several awards for it as well. So aside from obviously all of these different shows that you have going on, what do you like to do in your downtime?
Oh, I love to be the one place I'm not when I'm in a theatre, and that's outdoors. That's been particularly hard in lockdown. Is the sort of has been the lack of outdoors. Yeah, so I love cycling and canoeing and hiking. Those are, getting outside and getting some vitamin D. I don't get enough the rest of the time. I'm in darkened rooms my entire life.
That's true. Yeah. No windows in sight.
Yeah.
Excellent. That's great. Of all of the venues that you've worked at around the world, do you have a favorite venue?
I think there are two in particular that I love, and they're both very similar in scale. They're both in London. One is the Donmar Warehouse, and the other is the Almeida Theatre, or Almeida Theatre. I never know how to say it. And I've been working there for years. But what's the same about both of them is they're both sort of about a 280 to 320 seating capacity. And there's something about that capacity that, although whilst not commercial enough to be able to survive on ticket sales alone, like a show in the West End in a 1,400 seat venue could do. There's something about that scale that is the most rewarding to be an audience member in. I think from talking to actor friends, so definitely to be an actor in, and certainly to light in as well. There's something about that scale that is any one of the people involved can use a tiny gesture. The actor can just do the slightest raised eyebrow, drop their voice to the smallest whisper, and yet everybody can still hear them. It feels quite freeing. You can do anything. You can do the big scale images within it, and you can do the tiny gestures, and everything works. So, yeah, those two, the Almeida and the Donmar.
Right.
And they're both very close to my heart because I worked at both of them as a casual electrician, as well as worked up, and now of course years and years later doing lots of designs at both of them. They're both super. Love them.
Fantastic. That's great. And obviously both been around for a long time with a lot of history, and hopefully still many years to come for them as well. Obviously we're still in the middle of the lockdown. during the lockdown, obviously a lot of people turn to music and having a chance to chill out. Is there a particular record or a particular artist that you would, you absolutely love listening to, and it's your go-to piece for things like this?
I'm bad. As all my sound designer friends tell me, I'm deeply uneducated in music. No, in lockdown, I've been reading a lot, and a lot of stuff about theatre and Broadway, which has been nice to get a chance to actually read around your subject a bit. But crazy stuff like, sorry, they're all here on my desk. This looks terrible, but like theatre lighting in the age of gas. I tell you, this one's going to be a bestseller.
It's a real page turner.
Wait for it though. If you thought that was specific, what about this one? Who even knew that lighting the Shakespearean stage, that there would even be that much to say about it? Who knew? Wow. Theatre of Fire, special effects in early English and Scottish theatre. Those are the sort of things I've been going through. I've got many on the go at the moment. So lovely to get time. They've been sitting on my shelf for probably most of the last decade, a lot of these, and so it's nice to at last get some time to read them properly.
Looking back on your career, and obviously almost a false start right there at the beginning, and everything you've gone through. What if you could wind back in time and give a piece of advice to the teenage Neil Austin? What would that be? Work
harder at school. Do something else. Sorry. Is that no? I think the one piece of advice I would have had was it's going to take you so much longer than you think.
Right.
It's tempting. I mean, I remember leaving college and saying I'm going to be at the National Theatre within 5 years. It took me 7. But even that, I now look back and I'm like, what did I do for those first 5 years? What was I? They were all, you were putting out all these different feelers, and eventually you sort of make it. Yeah, it's a vocation. It's a calling. It's not necessarily a living.
If you could have the chance to sit down for a cup of coffee or a glass of something with any one person, either living or dead, who would it be?
God, that's a difficult one. There are so many, aren't there? I would love to go. I would love to go back. If I had a time turner, Harry Potter, get me. If I had a time turner, I would go back in time and witness Shakespeare and that creative process of putting on the shows at the Curtain or the Globe or the theatre, any of their venues. That would be amazing. Just to understand how those pieces came about. I think that would be very exciting.
Okay, well, we made it to our final question.
Wow.
This is a slightly light-hearted one. So the phone rings, and it's the British Olympic Association, and they're calling you up to let you know that Neil, you've been accepted, and you're going to be competing in the Olympics. Now, it could be the Summer Games or it could be the Winter Games. What's the sport that they're going to be calling you up for?
Oh, I think it would be canoeing. It's not that I'm good at it, but it's the thing that I would love to be able to do extraordinarily well. Yeah, I think cycling is fun, but canoeing, watching them do whitewater canoeing is kind of amazing. So.
It is pretty special to watch. That's for sure.
And also, what a great skill. Getting that down goes, no, I love it. No, great. Let's do that. Whitewater kayaking. Whitewater kayaking.
All right, then. There we go. Brilliant. Fantastic. Neil, that's fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us. Obviously,
thank you.
At the moment. Of course, we look forward to catching up in person again soon. In the meantime, Neil Austin, thank you very much.